Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan here, and it is Holly Jolly Friday. The Holly Jolly Friday. We're doing the Holly Jolly wreaths from my friend Bev McCulloch of Flamingo Toes. You should have beautiful wreaths in your home right now. Lots and lots of them like this. This week we are doing sashing, the rest of the sashing. If you're like me, you did part of what's considered the sashing when you did the bottom half of the bow. But these are the rest of the strips, and I'm going to next show you my tips for these because you definitely need to be on your A game. And then I have a few other things to show you after that. So these go in here. This is one that will go in that spot because what we are creating are these diamond areas, these red diamonds, which Bev did just an amazing job with this layout. It is so cool, comes together so neat. I think that's the best part about quilting and the most fun about using my friends' patterns that are so clever because they have thought it out for me and I can just make it and have fun just like you. So there they are. Let's get those tips. For this week, then, getting the sashing all done is where I'm at. So I have the blocks up on the wall like I just showed you, and I want to give you the sort of tips and how I'm getting this laid out to get all this sashing on here. Because what I had done is I did the full bow. So that means I put part of the sashing under the wreath when I was doing the wreaths. I just like to look at them with the full bow. So that means I have to be kind of on my A game while I'm working through this because I didn't do it exactly in the same order, although it's just a step sooner. Anyway, what I have is basically working with the background and the red fabric this week. And I've got strips and I've got squares. That's it. So we're doing some sew and flip. But that's where the key of your A game comes in because you need to really get the sew and flips going the right way on the right pieces for the right spots. And so I figure I'm going to do this very carefully because my mind is kind of doing a lot of things right now, and that means more chance for me to not get it in the right spot and have to have a date with Jack the Ripper, and I just don't, Jack the Seam Ripper, so I just don't want to do that. I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will get one of them out of order. So what do I have? Basically, I have a pile of the squares for the sew and flip, and I have a set of strips for the sashings. And this is what I'm going to be accomplishing, putting these on the ends in the right place. Some of them will have two, some of them will just have one. That's where you have to really keep track. I have just done one of these, and I can tell you that where I thought it was going was wrong. So luckily it went in another spot, but I wouldn't put it up on the design wall and I went, oh, it goes here. And I was like, no, it doesn't. So the really brilliant part of this pattern from Bev is this setting. She really put a lot of thought into it. It creates such a cool end result, but you've got to get it all right. Now when I'm doing the sew and flips for the squares, you can either, like if you have a machine like mine, my Baby Lock Solaris, I have a laser guide beam, which then goes, I'll pop a picture up here. The laser guide beam puts that guide right on the line so I don't have to draw a line. But if you don't have a laser guide beam, then use one of these pens that wash away. The mark does stay on for the sew and flip. So you want to do end to end like this and then you will go ahead and, well, look at that. This is real life. I actually have a square that I didn't cut properly. I cut into it. So we're going to have another square made. Let's do that again. So we'll do end to end here on a square that does not have a slice out of it. And I will be sewing on that line. And if you have my triangle book, I show you step by step how to do this with photos, but you're going to sew on the line. Let me flip this over. So there's my sewing, which I use my guide beam. So I didn't draw a line on mine. So I would sew it, then you'll flip it over, and then before you cut it, do two things. One, flip it over and check the back. Is the red sticking out too much? Like would it look like this? that's a problem. Or would it be that the white, the red didn't cover it? Like when you flipped it over, it didn't cover it like that. That's also a problem. So you're gonna have to unsew it and do it correctly. Otherwise, your strip is not going to be matching very well. Now the next part I want you to do, this is super important because I think that it will save you having to recut things, is when you're at this point with the backing on here, if you can, if you have a design wall like I do, go put it on the design wall with this still attached. That way, if you got it sewn onto the wrong area, one of them flipped the wrong way, then you won't have to cut new strips. You just have to remove the square and flip it. That is so important, because if you just start cutting it and you have maybe some of them wrong, you'll have to be redoing things. So that's another super big tip. I also sew when I'm doing the square. I just can hold it here. Instead of sewing from the point, I sew from the straight edge. So I sew in from here, which gives me this whole straight edge rather than this little point that could get sucked down into your feed dogs. So those are all my tips for getting these sashings correct and up there. So that's what I'll be working on this week. Now I also have a single wreath. Now the single wreath that I did was the one that I was showing you making up as we kind of went along on the first couple of weeks. And it is a little different than her single wreath block. Her single wreath block has less strips in it so that it's not so big. Hers comes out to 20 inches by 20 inches, and it's a little bit smaller and it has that great rim around it. I have to decide to either make another one, like use this for the back of the quilt, and then make hers like this. I think that I have to go measure if that 20 will fit on my door. If it doesn't, then I will use this one and just put a white border and then a fabric border around it, and this will be for my front door. So that's what I'm planning with a front door wreath. I really like hers because I like that sashing, but I have to see the size. I think that'll fit. So that means I need to make another one, and I will just put this, I think this will be fun to put it on the back because it's just so cute, so cute. Okay, so another couple of things. I have a crumb block update. What was I doing? So I talked to you about the ones from the old school, the fabrics from the old school. So I got, when I was making that block, the courthouse steps, my block for the old school, these were the scraps from it pretty much. I think I had maybe got another couple of scraps from a previous block. But this was all one block's kind of scrap stuff, which amazed me. I'm like, wow. Then I've done a blue one. Yes. And then this was fun. I made sort of this little block with some of the half square triangles, and then finished it out with all the rest of the extra strips and crumbs and stuff. I like doing this, sewing all the little pieces together like this. This is a lot of fun because I do them as I start and stop other projects, so that works out super good. And then here's one in progress, another with some extra half square triangles with the ladies. So I've got the ladies there. So I think that one's gonna be super cute too. All right, my cross stitch. Let me give you an update on the long one that I'm doing, monthly markings. So this guy, and this long like this. I am doing the owl, but I decided to do a white owl. Now, I first started stitching it. I knew I wanted to do a white owl, and then I forgot I wanted to do a white owl. So I started stitching it, and I did 3 rows at the bottom of the owl. And I'm like, oh, wait. I wanted to do a white owl. So I took that out, and I've got it going. So here it is. Here's the white owl started, and I've got the little pumpkin done. And I think the white owl's gonna, I have some gray thread. I have lots of thread. So gray floss. So I'll do some gray with the white, and I think a pink face, a light pink face for that owl. So there's the owl. And then I might do a blue bird or red bird instead of the crow. And I know the crow is like better for fall, but I don't care. I think it'll be cuter with a blue bird. So I will do my bird blue. So there's this guy. He's, you know, I haven't worked on him much. I haven't worked much on this stuff because I'm trying to get the other things wrapped up. And they're coming along. They're wrapping up. They're getting there. Yes. Okay, so I also got in planning for 2022. This is a nice new planner with a collaboration between Fat Quarter Shop and Lori Holt. And it's a really traditional planner, whereas it has a lot of space for what you're going to do in each month. You know, there's a couple of things, some goal things, but for each month you get the month layout, and then after that it's by week. I'll just pull one of the pages. Whoops, because it went past that. Yeah, so here. So you have by week, you have each day, and then at the end it gives you some other sort of, whoops. So right at the end, no, it was at the beginning. So basically you get each week. So pretty much this is a traditional type of planner. I love the huge spiral on it that kind of gives you the ability to not only lay it flat like this, but it just does that so easily. So these are brand new. They've got this gorgeous canvasy cover on them. I love it. So if you want one, the link is down below. It's also at my website today. So I can't wait to see your I am having a little trouble with this mic right at the end. So I might have to cut this off short because it's not recording properly. So if that's the case, it'll be a little shorter video. So what we have is our Holly Jollies today. Our Holly Jollies, that sounds weird. Our Holly Jolly wreath, and you're going to put on those sashings. Keep in mind your directions of the half square triangles, of the sew and flip half square triangles that you're doing, so they're in the right place. All right, I love you. Mwah. See you online.